There we go. And okay, now to wait.
Okay, listen. You don't take it to just keep it beside you. You play with it and give it back.
Wait for people to get in. Like I said, it usually takes a few minutes for the people to get in. Probably obvious at this point. Okay, so I have paper and pen and everything ready. It's just all due to waiting. Table here a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. Hey, it's me, Mark, from last week. I just changed my name. Well, hello again. Nice to see you back. Just waiting for people to get into the stream. Usually takes about less than 5 minutes or so. So once we get at least a decent few people in, we'll begin the Q&A and everything. And I also have an important announcement I'd like to make for the channel. But like I said, I'm going to wait till more people get in. Yeah, whoever gets in is more than welcome to talk and say stuff, but I just want to wait for more people. No point in talking to myself. Might seem a little boring each Q&A to wait for 5 minutes every single time, but to me, it just seems like a better way to, get more ideas on the table, especially from how many ideas we got last time with my brother, albeit with some resistance from those other people. Sage Sannon. Hi. Not too much. Just got home from work, and yeah, pretty beat, honestly. Had more time to relax before I did this, so I wasn't like a mindless zombie. Only reason I got a job is till I get this to be a full-time job, which I'm doing a pretty good job at, I'd have to say. Not to say that I'm hoping, from how fast my What If the Governor Met Negan first video and my What If Rick Met Negan Before Alexandria videos blew up over 7,000 views now, it just takes the right video, I think. Often? Yeah, I hope so too. I might not be responding a lot. Okay. Well, I can't really say what if you were in The Walking Dead, Sweet Resort, because I know nothing about you. How's your day going? I'm doing all right. Yeah, just pretty much got home from work and just waiting for people to get in, which we are getting quite a few here. Hey, Braden. I think we're ready to start here. Definitely got a decent amount of people, but before we do and get into any ideas or anything like that, I have an important announcement to make for the channel. So, as you guys might not be aware, I include small hints of comics, like the Walking Dead comics, in some of my videos for just extra effect for the story. But last night, I just started reading the comics because I found a website where they literally have the full comic thing, and I got to read up to the prison. And let me just say that even though I'll never be doing comic-based what-ifs, I can include comic stuff into a story. Like, what if Rick and Andrea got together? And what if Shane died in season 1? Because those stuff happened in the comics. So for it to happen in the show would have much greater effect, which is why I think now giving the comics a chance really worked out for me, even though it's just been a day since I've read them. Have you played the Walking Dead game? No, I have not. And the only Walking Dead game I think I'm going to take any interest in is the new Walking Dead Destinies coming out. And even that's going to season 4. So unless they make DLC for past that, I really, really, really don't think I'm going to buy it. Because if you're going to make a Walking Dead what if game, especially Destinies, you got to do the full thing. So unless they include the full thing, I'm not getting the game most likely, because it would be a waste of time just doing up to season 4. But yeah, just figured that I'd make that announcement about the comics, and that I'm going to be making more stuff related to the comics in the future, while also including comic-based stuff for my stories. So with that said, we can officially begin the Q&A and start with the questions and stuff. And yeah, I already have everything set up, so I just wanted to get that announcement out of the way. So with that out of the way, we can get started. So I haven't missed anything, because some of my Q&A videos I've missed comments either due to how I'm feeling or last video with all those crazy people. Now that that's out of the way, I'm just going to check because I feel like I may or may not have missed something. Well, nothing really major has been commented yet, and it's only 7 minutes in. So, yeah. Comic Negan is a badass. When Rick cut Negan's throat in the comics, he doesn't just give up. He continues to fight Rick, and he permanently damages Rick's leg. Yeah, I've seen that on the internet. What happened last week wasn't here. Well, basically, Sage, during about the 40-minute mark of my last stream, Lemonhead, Deborah, Millais, sorry, Ken Edits, I already have, I'm telling him. But anyways, during the 40-minute mark, there were people, yeah, basically, they were saying inappropriate stuff and being really, really rude, honestly. And up till this point, I've only gotten 3, maybe 4 mean comments in the 2 years I've had this YouTube channel. And it was basically down to the fact that they just wouldn't stop, basically. A bunch of people coming on and just causing utter confusion and mayhem. And my brother was there too, so even though it wasn't the biggest deal for him, it was kind of more embarrassing. Exactly, candidates. They did that too. And I basically banned them or hid them. See, I can't block them on my device. I felt like I'd have to do that on a PC. So what I did was, in my stream, I hid them for 24 hours. Then I tried to find them, but they wouldn't pop up on the stream. So I'm thinking that since I hid them on the stream, that's why I couldn't find them. I looked for Lemonhead 300 times. I think I found Deborah, though. It might have been, like, I think it was I at least found one of them. But if they do show up again, I can at least try and find a way to hide them for good. Exactly. Like, for 2 years, this never happened, and I just started doing Q&As, and you know what the worst part about that is? Is the fact that it was just 2 days after my 2-year anniversary. So imagine getting that kind of freaking disrespect from people. But anyways, I don't want to go too into that. I just wanted to answer your question. So let's get into some questions ourselves. It's not the biggest deal, the issue. I just wanted to answer the question. That's all. People change, a few years, everything was fine, now it's just messed up. Well, see, here's the thing. People have always been, like, basically we're our own destruction. Because if you think about it, natural disasters, that's just natural, obviously. But humanity is the cause of our own destruction. Every virus, flu, world war, anything and everything, we are the cause of our own destruction. And COVID infinitely raised that to its peak whenever it occurred. That just summed up, and people are still not getting it through their heads that we are causing our own destruction. I don't want to be repetitive, but it's how it is. And not to say that everyone's bad. It's just, yeah, it's exactly. It's just, it's sad that more people can't, like, respect our world, be nicer. And I mean, everyone's different, but I feel like we're getting way too off topic. Also, I wanted to ask you if you want, I wouldn't mind making you an intro. I'm not an expert on editing, but I'd say I'm pretty decent. Just let me know what clips you'd want in it. Well, if you've seen my intro already with the Gokus at the beginning and then at the end, I pretty much came up with that with, like, one of my other channels, but honestly, I don't know about another idea for an intro. Not to say that I wouldn't want one, I just can't really think of an idea. If you could maybe get some ideas related to, like, maybe related to the topics and genres that I look at, maybe we can work something out there. But I really can't think of anything major, really. Wow, Sweet Kozarki's coming out like crazy. What if Negan killed Daryl instead of Glenn and Abe? I already have What if Negan killed Daryl saved, even though I kind of skipped it a few times, but I do. What if the governor put down the sword and took Rick's offer? I've done that one already on the channel. What if the governor wanted to live with Rick in the prison? It's just earlier on in my channel, so you'd have to look for it. What if Rick and Shane both made it off the farm? That would be What if Rick spared Shane, which I've made 2 series of. So that idea is already set in stone. What if Negan captured Abraham instead of killing him? Well, that's interesting. Honestly, I think... I can't say whether someone has recommended that Abraham goes with Negan in one of the what ifs. I think it might have just been Eugene or Rosita. Like, or both of them. But I don't know if someone recommended me Abraham or not. I don't know. I could do that. It's just that I thought someone recommended me it already. What if Negan captured Abraham? Good first idea. But here is what I'm thinking about that one, is that it would be extremely hard to put Abraham in a... It would be extremely hard to put Abraham in a situation where he would bow to Negan. Because if you remember, the only reason Negan took him out first and not Glenn, like in the comics, is because he knew that Abraham wouldn't break. He looked at him, Abraham looked him dead in the eye, he didn't frown, he didn't do any of that. He looked him dead in the eye and was like pretty much in thought. He was basically saying to Negan's face, "You will never, ever break me." And that's exactly why Negan killed him first. But if he captured him, I feel that with time, unless Rick's group or Abraham himself got out, I don't know if Abraham would have really turned on Rick's people. It'd be like a mixed mash, honestly, but I could still do it. It's just hard to say where it would be from there. Now I gotta catch up on comments. What if Carl never got shot by Otis? I already did that one too. You just have to look for it. What if Rick and Shane both killed each other on the farm? So you mean like a double KO? Well, I think that essentially the group would have been doomed because without a leader type other than Daryl, they would have all died or been subjugated to another group. It would be like, what if Shane killed Rick, but much, much worse, because the group would be completely leaderless. Completely. What if Negan captured Carol? That's kind of hard to do, because Carol was with Morgan and that whole thing. They went to the kingdom. You would have to switch around them going to the lineup, and nothing really, I feel, would make Negan want to kidnap Carol. They didn't even speak really until after Negan had been captured himself. So, I feel like that's kind of hard to do. Okay, sounds good. I'll just make a draft and let me know what you think. Will you be sending it to me like on YouTube, or how's that going to work? Not to say that I disagree. I just want to know where I'm going to be getting the draft from, like Google Drive, YouTube, something like that. What if Rick's arm was cut off in the show, like in the comics? Well, spoiler alert, for my What If the Governor Met Negan remake, I'm basically going to be taking a page out of the comics and basically doing that. The governor cutting Rick's arm off. Spoiler alert, but yeah. What if Beth hadn't died, especially when and where? I think paused for a second. Well, people have asked me to do that what if before, and I've had Beth survive in almost every single one of my stories. But essentially by herself, that's kind of hard to do. Because I feel that Beth, while her death was kind of they brought her back just to kill her like a Morales move, I feel like it was for the best. Because if you've seen my What If Daryl and Beth Stayed Together video earlier on in my channel, I explained that Beth's death was a lot better than what it would have been had she stayed with Daryl. Because one thing, claimers. And someone recommended me an idea like that before, and as mad as many people in our world are about Beth's death, I don't think they gave an inch of a thought as to how it would have ended if Beth had stayed with Daryl. She would have died a lot worse. A death that would not have befitted her. And even if it was a simple gunshot in the original show, it's much better than what she would have got in the video I already explained. What if Rick's group... I'm caught up. I thought I wasn't caught up for a second. What if Rick's group found Tyrese's group in Season 1, basically where they found them in the comics? I actually have that what if saved after reading the comics, ironically, but it's not that word for word. What I'm going to be doing with that is I'm going to try and make Tyrese's group intertwine with Rick's group after they leave the CDC, like on their way to Fort Benning and everything, and Alan and Ben are going to be with Tyrese. I'm going to include the show kind of continuity there, because I don't really get the whole Alan and Ben being with Rick in the comics. It's a lot different. It's weird, honestly, and I don't even think Sasha is in the comics. I could be wrong, but yeah, that idea is already pretty much saved. Let me see here. Have you seen You on Netflix? I think I heard of it. What if Glenn never dated Maggie? Matter of fact, it's either due to someone recommending me that, or I thought about it on my own. But that one is saved. What we got here? What if Simon succeeded in killing Negan? That one's already done. You just have to look for it. Yeah, he does have a daughter named Julie. What if Gareth was redeemed? That one I've tried to do before, and another spoiler alert, What If the Governor Met Negan remake will include that aspect. Not entirely at all, but it will feature a kind... I'm not going to spoil it fully, but I will be including it. It was down to basically the fact of Gareth, now he was, and it's really, really hard to redeem him. I mean, Lytra Storm or Lytra DLC has done it with What If Dale Survived, but for me, it's just really hard to not go, number one, off his aspect, and number two, just a way to make it like he could be redeemed. What if Rick's group never met Aaron? Well, I've technically already done that with What If Rick's group met Negan instead of going to Alexandria, which has the most views on my channel, 8,000. It's my most popular video, and that's pretty insane. What if Merle met Negan instead of the governor? That one's already done too. Wow. You're doing a lot of ones I've already done. What if Daryl hadn't hit Negan and gotten Glenn killed? Well, then Glenn would have been around for, I feel, a great part of The Walking Dead. But as I've included before, I feel like he would have died in season 10 to the Reaper who blew himself up. Because, don't get me wrong, Glenn was a pretty significant character, especially saving Rick. I had no problem with Glenn. He survived so many fake death issues that I really thought Glenn was basically immortal, but then so did Carl, and he died to a walker bite. So you can never hold your hopes too high for a character. As sad as I was to see him go, I wasn't even sure it was him at first when I first watched The Walking Dead, but honestly, he lived 7 seasons. So even though people were upset about Glenn's death, he lived for a pretty significant amount of time. What if instead of Negan killing Glenn, he cut off Daryl's arm when he punched him, since that was what was supposed to happen in the original? I think I could do that. What if Negan cut off Daryl's arm? I don't remember him saying that in the show, or hearing about that happening in the show, but that would have made him more like Merle. Honestly, just might be hard to include him with one arm. I'll have to find pictures or edit them myself. What if Shane only managed to save Carl and not Lori? Well, I think someone recommended me that before. I can't tell why I avoided it, but... I think I know. It's because someone, I think, recommended what if Shane only managed to save Lori and not Carl? But I could do it the other way around. I think it's down to the fact that I couldn't do it the other way because of Lori being a massive, or Carl being a massive influence. But Lori, I feel that I could maybe do something there. I feel like Carl would be much better too. What if Eric Matthews killed Amanda Young when Eric got out of the bathroom? Well, he already had his leg pretty much torn off, but he did beat the absolute crap out of her. So, yeah, I think I could do that. What if Eric Matthews killed Amanda? Happy birthday, Melanie. Happy birthday, I guess? But yeah, that's 4 ideas so far. And we are 25 minutes in. I think I'll extend it about over an hour. This time, due to the fact that I had that announcement to make at the beginning, and it took a bit for people to like get in and recommend ideas. So I feel like I'm going to be extending it over an hour each time, not like every single time, but yeah, I feel like I'll just extend it. It's Dr. Pepper. I always want something to drink, because if I let my throat get too dry for an extended period of time, I go crazy. Even if it's, Dr. Pepper's not that dehydrating, but, yeah, I just want something to drink. Not even just for my throat, but just to have something to drink while I'm doing my stuff. What if the prison and Alexandria swapped locations? That would be increasingly hard to really get a handle on, really, just due to the fact that Alexandria was so much bigger. So they forgot. That's really, really confusing. I'm sorry. I don't know if you've watched Halloween, but I do have a what if Michael Myers. See, I'm not really into the Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Not to say I don't like the villains, but the movies overall I'm not a fan of. I like Friday the 13th, and I like many other horror movies, but not really for ideas, especially for what ifs. I don't think that I would. I just don't really think that I'd be into watching them anyway. I've definitely seen clips and reviewed them, or reviews of them, but I don't think that I'd be willing to watch them or do anything like that fully, or review them on the channel. But I did give Harry Potter a chance at least, so who knows? What if Carl lived? I definitely think that Carl would be with Daryl searching for Rick's body for 8 years. I've had him live in many other stories, but honestly, I put Carl surviving off just due to the fact that, once again, he was another character, even though I felt like he could have done more. He lived 8 seasons, so yeah. And after getting shot in the stomach, and then 4 seasons later getting shot in the eye, and then a walker bite, can't really think of anything else I could really do in terms of Carl, other than what I presented in other stories. My what if Carl joined Negan, I've definitely expanded Carl's character, albeit it was a very silly story, to say the least. Can you tell me what Dr. Pepper tastes like? Well, it almost tastes like a form of root beer, so to speak, except a little bit different. What if Jill Tuck became Jigsaw? It definitely seemed that way before Hoffman killed her. But as a whole, Jill Tuck didn't seem like the type that would really be Jigsaw. She seemed very, 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 very against everything that John did, which would have made the perfect twist if Hoffman hadn't killed her. But considering it's so late into the series that she started to show any sign of being a killer, to Hoffman especially, I can't really do a singular what if for her based on that. Bro, grow your beard. Well, I did try growing my beard, but due to work, really, and just due to the fact that I don't really like facial hair, I just shave every 2 days. Just got an electric shaver to better manage my face because the house-held ones are just very annoying, and I dealt with those for 2 years. What if Carl ran into the forest instead of Sophia, assuming he gets lost and dies where Otis finds him? Someone actually recommended me that one, and I have it saved in my quick memo. What ifs are gay, bro? Then you should leave then and... Yeah, you should leave. Because what ifs, I think... You can have your own opinion about what ifs, but I personally think that they are amazing. They explore a different reality, and they show what should have, could have, or would have happened in either real life or fiction. So you definitely need to rethink that comment, especially considering what I've brought to this channel, and so many people are liking them. And if what ifs truly were gay, then explain to me how millions of, not literally millions, but many of people on the internet make Reddit posts and YouTube posts and all that. Thank you. And if what ifs were truly like that, I'm 99.99% sure that there wouldn't be no Reddit post users about what ifs, which is where I got half my ideas from. There would be no one on YouTube, and the world would be a shell of its former self. What ifs have expanded everyone's lives. I am 99.9% sure. What if Maze lived? Hi. What if Maze lived? I know he was a side character, but he was an interesting character, so maybe he could do something. Maybe he's with Aaron and Gabriel. One sec, Ken. I'm just finishing the comments, because I have to catch up on a few. Well, I have made Maze live in a few what-ifs, but that's mainly due to the Reapers, and he truly was a side character. There wasn't too much of him that stuck out. The only thing that I've done with him in a few stories is made him live at least to the Reapers, and then he dies. Because other than that, he did not seem like one of the best characters to make a compelling story out of, but I at least made him live to the Reapers, so that's something. No, what if you were a girl? Well, we are getting a few annoying people again, so leave it to me. Wait a minute. No, I can't. Unfortunately, I cannot hide them, because if I try to do that, then it will hide the comments for when the stream is fully uploaded. So I'll wait until the stream's fully uploaded, which should take until tomorrow, and it will register the live comments. You can just go to their channel and hide them for good. But if I do it on here, then they could always come back. Heck, I'm surprised Lemonhead ain't back. So I'll just figure it out later. It's not that big a deal. I think it was more big a deal last time, but they can talk all they want. What if you was a girl? Well, you're like the 99th person that has said that to me. Guys can have long hair too, you know. I'm pretty sure that plenty of guys in the world have them. Yeah, he very well could be. What the heck? Let me look at this. Jeremiah Urias Rodriguez. That is one long freaking name. Thank you. I just grew it out just because I never had long hair in my life. A few years ago, I just grew it out because I just never grew long hair before. And personally, I'm okay with it. You sound like an actual child. What ifs are actually really creative and expand beyond what a comic or TV show might provide. And not only that, they explore what could happen in our world. Like, what if one of the presidents didn't get assassinated? Or what? Oh, sorry, that was just a Facebook thing. What if a president didn't get assassinated? What if a world war didn't happen? It expands everything. Prentice. That's funny. And then we got Janessa Toe over here with all these letters, numbers, and whatever all this is. All right. So far for the stream, we are 35 minutes in, and we have 4 ideas, 3 of which being Walking Dead, which I still don't know how we have all that, but yeah. We're going to have even more with comic crap, I swear. The Walking Dead's really changed my life and my channel. And then we got a Saw one. But yeah. Since you have long hair, you should be Carl for Halloween. I actually stopped really going out on Halloween about 2 years ago. I just figured once you get past the age of 18, it's just really, really weird to go out. And not that I say I don't dress and at least scare kids and stuff like that just for fun. But I don't really do anything besides that. I just basically chill. But that would be pretty funny, honestly. You look like Keanu Reeves' cousin. Well, I do not know who that is, but Keanu Reeves does have long hair, so who knows? I could be very looking like him. Not even for trick-or-treating, maybe just for a stream or for fun. I could do that, but I likely work then anyway. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm aware. I watched all the John Wicks about less than a year ago, and then I rewatched them and rented the 4th one to make proper what ifs and review them on my channel. I've also seen Keanu Reeves in a few other movies. Not too many others. I saw him in the movie Knock Knock, which was something else entirely. And John Wick. Oh, and he was in the new Sponge Out of Water movie. Other than that, I don't really think that I've seen any other movies that have explored Keanu Reeves. But I do know a decent good bit about him. I know he's a generous guy and everything. Which is nice that people are like that in this world. And that, yeah. Have you seen The Matrix? I have heard about The Matrix plenty of times, but I have never seen it. What if Rick Grimes was in Friday the 13th? I mean, I would probably only be able to include him as a cop for one of the movies, but I have included him in Saw, or at least for an idea, so I think that I could work something out. Yeah, I would have to include him as a cop more than anything else, because if I were to do something else for him, I can't make him Jason, because, yeah, it would just be too hard. Sorry, I was focusing on a comment. What if Rick Grimes was in Friday the 13th? Okay. What if Rick was more like Shane earlier? That would be interesting. But I honestly feel that Rick's character development worked out for the best. Because even though many parts of it were like, oh man, Rick is like a true villain, or man, Rick should really do what's best for the group or something like that. I feel that it worked out. Since it's Halloween, what's your favorite horror movie? That's a tough one. I love a bunch of horror movies, although some are definitely hard for me to go through. I've had horror movies that I can't stand. But as for horror movies, like, which one's my favorite? That's tough. I would have to say it comes between Scream, Saw, and honestly one of those two franchises, because to pick one in general, that's hard. What if the lineup never happened? Well, the only way I see the lineup never happening is if Rick's group or Negan's group didn't instigate the other group. And honestly, I feel that the way it started, honestly, there was no coming back from it. Like Little Timmy and his brigade, that's what started it. And the Saviors on the Road before that, even that's what started it. But I feel like whatever happened just happened. Yeah, it is pretty good. What's your favorite candy? Oh, I haven't had candy in a moment, but I could probably say few of my favorites. I'd go with Juicy Drop Pops, the candy blocks that you get from like Giant Eagle or Baldingers, Reese's, the Reese's candies, and Skittles and Mike and Ice. I have a bunch of favorites with those two, nothing in particular. With many things, I'm not really a favorite person. I just like a bunch of them. What if the lineup happened at Alexandria, since Negan would have more people to kill? Okay. So, like, what if Negan and the Saviors just went to Alexandria instead of Rick and them? Like, Rick and them are getting ready to leave to Hilltop, and then Negan's group just bounces in and then does the lineup there, sort of like the season 7 finale. Okay, I could do that. What if... So that's 6 ideas so far. What if the lineup happened at Alexandria? Okay. What if Carol was shot instead of Axel? People have recommended me that, and I feel like it's a recurring theme at this point. But someone recommended, what if Carol died instead of T-Dog, and T-Dog lived, and then people recommended me that one. I just feel that T-Dog would make a better Carol than Axel. So that's why I'm not doing that one. Sour Patch Kids are good too. I forgot about those. What if the lineup was common accurate? Well, then if Glenn was the only one to really... Glenn's the only one that gets killed in the comic one, if I'm not mistaken. So if it was like that, then they would have to find a second person, and it would likely be Daryl, and it's really hard to say where the story would go from there. Rick would likely get himself and everybody killed, especially with a Glenn and Daryl specifically. What if Dr. Gordon never became an apprentice of Jigsaw? Well, I feel that would be hard, because every time, mainly for the majority of traps, any person who really survived, any major character like Amanda Young or Hoffman or Dr. Gordon, many of them eventually became apprentices of Jigsaw. So to say that that wouldn't happen, it would change way too much in the Saw franchise to make a compelling story. Dr. Gordon was one of those people that once you figured out that he was behind half the traps, it would be really hard to reverse that. Axel was supposed to have Thomas Richard's story. Okay. I don't know who that is. Is that like a comic person, maybe? What if Rick was a cop alongside Dewey in Scream? Oh, so, geez, that's like, I've included him in Saw, included him in Friday the 13th, and now in Scream. God dang. 7. Honestly, it would have been an interesting plot with Axel in the role of Thomas from the comics. Thomas Richards is the comic version of Tomas of the series. Well, god dang. Seven ideas. Yes, King of Portals. That's what I meant. 7 ideas is what I had. Lost my train of thought there for a second. I don't think that I can do Axel's story like that because I definitely see that role fitting to Moss. What if Dewey was in Saw? Yeah, I could do. Jesus. See, I don't know how I don't think of this stuff. I go above and beyond. You know, when I first made my channel, I thought that you got a big family. Yeah, if you hear in the background, there are a few kids, but I don't have a humongous family. I have a decent family, but not at the moment here now. But 7 ideas is what I meant. Well, now 8 because of the Dewey one. Now, did I miss anything? No, I didn't. If it was comic accurate, there would be no Daryl at the lineup to punch Negan. Abe would be alive as well because only Rick, Carl, Glenn, Maggie, Sophia, Michonne, and Heath are at the lineup. Yeah. Well, no, Abe would not be alive because in the comics he got killed by the arrow that Denise did. So he got killed before the lineup of the comics. I at least know that from the internet. But, yeah. What if Tyrese's group found the prison before Rick's group? Well, I think I could do that. I think that they would have encountered the prisoners, but this would have to be like before we meet up with Rick's group again in the winter. Not in the winter, but after the winter. What if Tyrese's group found prison first? Slick, Devil G, how are you doing? I'm doing all right. What about if Carl ran off on the highway instead of Sophia? If he came out of the barn, I already have that one saved. It was someone in this very stream, like it was either the Q&A last time or the one before that, but I do have that one saved for the future. And now we have 9 ideas so far for the stream. But like I said, I'm going to extend it to like an hour and 10 minutes or something like that. I should literally do that for every stream at this point because It's not because of people, but because I also had to make an announcement about the comics and everything like that. I feel like it's just a reoccurring theme at this point. Essentially, what if Abe didn't die? Well, I've already had Abraham live in other stories before, and what if Negan captured Abraham would describe that further. So I've had him survive plenty. It's just for many characters, if I have them survive in a story, then if doing a certain one about them specifically, especially like Carl or Abraham, it's hard, you know? What if Shane left the group and took over the prison, so when the group gets there, Shane is there? I have Shane going to other groups, but when it comes to like the prison and the hospital, small stuff like that, I just don't really include stuff like that. And I've had him even join other groups besides Negan's. But yeah. What if... okay, I already read that one. What if John Wick was in The Walking Dead? I have that one actually saved, and I actually... I blew that one off for a time, but then I found a compelling story behind it, even though John Wick would literally destroy everyone except maybe the Reapers. But I did find a compelling story. You'll just have to forgive when it happens, because it's centered near the end stage of season 8, whenever he actually meets Rick and people. Not to say the story won't focus on him beforehand, but for when he meets like Rick's group and them and everybody else, it's literally the only thing I could do, because to put him anywhere else is very, very hard, essentially. What if Rick never killed one of the Claimers and Rick's group and the Claimers met at Terminus? So, well, I've had them meet the Claimers at Terminus before, and I honestly feel that it would be hard to do that, because the Claimers already knew Terminus to be, like, foolish. It was a waste of time, even Joe said. So I don't really see that happening. They probably would have avoided the Claimers, but to say that they would all meet in the middle is kind of hard. What if Walter White from Breaking Bad... I'm sorry, I've never watched Breaking Bad. I've heard of it and stuff like related to it, but I've never seen it. John Wick versus Carver and Jesus would be fire. Yes, it very much would. And I've included crossovers from The Walking Dead before. I've included John Cena. I've included Jason Voorhees, but that was a while ago. But in the future, I'm going to have so many more crossovers. You guys have already given me plenty since last stream. Like, I'm going to be including, like, WWE wrestlers in The Walking Dead. It's going to get crazy with some of them, but I want to save the majority of them for when I actually do the story. I don't want to blow many of my stories. What if the prisoners leave the prison and join the Saviors? Someone recommended me what if Tomas survived, and I'm going to include something like that, but I felt it best. I'd probably either make in that specific story the prisoners join the Claimers, or maybe, yeah, the Saviors. But that's going to be for when I make what if Tomas survived, and they just, like, leave the prison or something. But other than that, yeah, you could just say that idea is going to happen. It's just, a lot of these ideas are not going to happen for a long time, depending on the stories I make and how long they are, especially when it comes to The Walking Dead. Who would you have died? Oh, geez, a bunch of comments. Who would you have die at the lineup besides Abe and Glenn? 2 different people at the lineup. Like I said, that's really hard, because if you put it in the centerpiece of the original story, it's just very hard to say who would die. But I would have to guess between Daryl, Maggie, and Rick, because I've already covered what if Negan killed Maggie in 2 different storylines, one of which being a series, and I've already have saved for like what if Negan killed Daryl. I already have that one. It's going to be saved. But it's just increasingly hard because many of the group did not cut it to be killed by Negan's bat. Abe and Glenn, not even Glenn was that much really destined to die at the lineup. But I don't... But I think that due to the fact that he rebelled whenever Jigsaw. Whenever Negan was about to kill Maggie, he is the one who rebelled. So I think Glenn at that point was almost destined to die. How many ideas do you think you have written down for all of your Q&As? Well, considering the fact that you guys have given me a lot over these few, except for like one of them only being 4, and that's perfectly okay. I don't care how many or few there are, as long as I know you people enjoy the content I bring and have ideas that I can work with and we can talk about. But I'd say as a whole, probably over 50 at this point. And you guys have done great on that, and I thank you a lot for that. What if Lambert Kendall and Leon Bassett, the 2 cops Rick knew from before, as well as Shane, were still alive when he, Morgan, and Dwayne raided the police station? It would probably join Rick's group. They probably would, but since we don't know too much about those 2 small cops and they died, all I can say is that they would be 2 small assets to Rick's group and probably would end up getting killed before the CDC. So, not really too notable. What if the killer in Scream 3 was Stu and not Roman? Because he was supposed to be the killer. I have what if Stu survived, but I think that I'm going to center that more like to Scream 5 because of, what's her name? The sister of Stu in that movie. The one who's with Richie. Okay, I think I did most of the Jigsaw ideas. I'm going to do Scream now, but that's okay. I feel like Aaron has to be one of the top contenders since he looks like a nice guy. Exactly. And it's not really until he lost Eric that Aaron really turned into a kind of a jerk, honestly. And Aaron was so small. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Aaron just did not need to be in The Walking Dead. He should have died, honestly. The only cool things about him are the fact that he brought in Rick's group. He was around to help Daryl before Morgan saved both their lives. Eric died, so we got to feel bad for the guy. He gets a metal arm with a spike, mind you, and then mattered a little more in season 11. Other than that, Aaron should never have lived to how long he did. He was very small. What if the governor survived at the prison fall and met Negan? Well, I already have a what if the governor met Negan, and I already am going to be making a remake of that series, so yeah. Hello, Breaking Dead. Breaking Dead, it's like a crossover between Breaking Bad and Walking Dead. What if Mickey survived Scream 2? I feel like I did make what if Mrs. Loomis survived Scream 2, but Mickey, I don't think that I saved that one because Mickey didn't really seem like the kind of character I could move on to future Scream projects. Like the other Scream movies, I just don't see him fitting into those categories like other characters did. What if Sasha died instead of Bob? Because when you think about it, Tyrese would have a darker side, and I see him surviving for a while. I think I saved that one, actually. And if you look at Lytra Storm's What If Shane Killed Rick series, he actually made that happen. What if Rick gave Daryl Gracie? I think Daryl knew that Gracie was around, but I don't think Daryl would have killed a kid or done anything. I think the same result would have happened, honestly. Gracie would have been given to Aaron or something like that. What if Lizzie killed Judith instead of... That's... I've never thought of doing... That is a dark one. I feel like Carol would definitely have killed Lizzie, but Rick finding it... Oh my... I already have what if Lori killed Judith saved, like back whenever she wanted to kill the baby at the farm, but that one is... Man, King of Portals. That's dark. That's 10 ideas so far for the stream. What if Randy survived Scream 2? I have what if Randy survived, and that actually is a very, very good one because Randy, I feel like, was killed off way too soon. They could have definitely done way more of him, especially after meeting his siblings and them honoring him. I'm like, nah, you should never have killed him off. What if Daryl didn't kill Morales? Well, then I have him surviving in a few of my other stories, but Morales would have just been a side character, more or less. He already was. He mattered a little, and then they seemingly never saw him again, and then they pop him up in season 7, only to have him die immediately after. So, yeah. Let me check here to see if I didn't miss anything. Lizzie would have been one of the most hated characters on the show if this happened. Well, she already killed Mika, so she already was pretty up there in terms of hated characters. Mika mattered a decent bit, but compared to Judith, I can't tell you how much that would have changed the story. Or what if Rick kept Gracie? Well, then Judith and Gracie would be around a lot more, and maybe Gracie would eventually carry the hat. I feel like RJ would have probably been given the hat still, but honestly, I feel like nothing really major would have changed, honestly. What if Big Tiny never been scratched? Tomas would not have killed him, and Rick and Daryl would have no signs that Tomas was dangerous, and Big Tiny would have survived. See, that's where you're wrong. Because Tomas was already unsteady and very, very dangerous. So, Lytra Storms covered this too. But if he had not killed Big Tiny, he would have still been found out that he was crazy because he swung at Rick with his weapon and then tried to throw a walker at him. That still probably most likely would have definitely happened. The only difference is Big Tiny would have been around, probably would have lived to either when they went to Woodbury, the prison attack, or the second prison attack. Either way, it really would not have done much to the story. Lytro has even covered it. I know I keep saying his name, but it's just down to the fact of how the story would go. Now, what if T-Dog killed Merle on the roof when the others were elsewhere and then chucked his body to the walkers? I feel like that's something T-Dog would have done, but then Daryl most likely would have killed him, essentially. So, yeah. So T-Dog would be killed. You know what? Yeah, I think I'll do that. As ludicrous as it sounds, but not to say it's completely ludicrous. I'm just saying for facts that really, really didn't seem like something T-Dog would do. A little bit from when he got beat up, but from what the story went for then, it just didn't seem like that was going to happen. But I could do that, so that's 11 ideas. Very good. What if Abe, Rosita, and Eugene never met Glenn and Tara? I have them meeting other groups and going to other groups and stuff like that. And you guys have helped a lot with that too. And I have them meeting Rick and the group early, like at Woodbury or like on the road and stuff. And for my What If the Governor Met Negan remake, I'm going to have Carol meeting the three of them because she'd still be banished. But I'm spoiling much more than I should. It's just whenever a certain idea comes up, I just spoil something or say something that's happened in a now done what if or past what if. It's just the way I am. Because I know many of you don't like spoilers, and that's perfectly okay to not like spoilers. But me, I try to uphold from them too much. It's just when someone's telling me something, I don't care if I get spoiled. That just makes me more excited to watch or see the show or movie or something like that. Let's see here. What if Daryl had the log fall on his arm instead of Aaron? Well, then it would be essentially like what if Negan cut off Daryl's arm, except it would be later in the show. So I think for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to stick with that idea. I don't want to be too repetitive. I don't want to show an idea for different scenarios, especially when it comes to a major character. It's just if I'm repetitive, I don't think the video is really going to get that much love. Yeah, you and Lytro DLC are the best What If YouTubers, in my opinion. While there are better ones, there's Moscow X, there's Salad Sane, there's Smug Stick, there's Carthu Dojo, there's Laughing Stock Media. There's many of other better What If YouTubers, but compared to The Walking Dead entirely, if that's what you're going for, then I can see that. There's not too many Walking Dead What If YouTubers out there. And even if there are, they cover like 2 or 3 and then it's like dunzo. And it's a waste, in my opinion. There's so much more you could do. Let's see here. What if I've never watched the Fast and Furious ones either. I've seen clips of the new movie that came out or is coming out or something, but never seen them. What if Merle spared Gargiulio? That's actually one of the series I teased in my 500 sub commemoration 2 months ago. That's one of them that's been teased. And after my What If Daryl Survived remake and What If Daryl Died Instead of Merle, I think that that's the next one. So it will be coming here within, like, say, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. What if Randy replaced Billy as Scream 1's mastermind Ghostface? So what if Randy was Ghostface? Well, see, it's hard for me to really think of Randy as a Ghostface, but after all the rules he said and everything else, I feel that it could work. And Randy would basically be the Sue. And his motive would have to be like reversing his own rules, I guess. Making the whole idea of rules in the series a lie, essentially. Then we would have Randy's siblings as new ghost faces. So yeah, I think I could work with that. I don't know why I didn't think of that idea, but we've had siblings and everything and family be enemies. So yeah, I could do that. What if Randy was Ghostface? That could actually be a reoccurring theme because yeah, we'd have siblings. Okay. I feel like Eugene would have had to come clean to it. Yeah. What if Stu killed Sydney in Scream? Well, see, then the story would essentially be over. Because you can't really kill off a main character in any kind of fashion. It's like taking out... I gotta think of a good example. It's like taking out Goku on Namek whenever he was fighting Frieza. Or taking out Rick whenever he was in the coma. Or taking out frickin' Sydney Prescott whenever she was in Scream 1. If you take out a character like that, especially a main one, there's no more story left to tell because everything you knew about that main character, everything that hyped you up about that character is gone. Dust. Nada. So, yeah, I can't really do that. What if Stu survived? I have that one saved. What if Stu helped Sydney and turned good? Well, if you think about it, what if Randy was Ghostface is essentially that idea. So Stu would basically be like the Randy after Randy is revealed as the second Ghostface. So, yeah. What if Rick never found the group and joined Negan? Well, then he most likely... I have Rick in the group joining other groups, but as for Rick alone, that's kind of hard to do because I don't think that he would have gotten farther than Atlanta on his own because he almost died in Atlanta to the walkers were it not for Glenn. So I feel like whatever was supposed to happen, happened. What if Cotton was also Ghostface with Nancy? Okay. Was Ghostface in Scream 2? Yeah, there were definitely some signs that, very obvious signs that Cotton was bad. What if Ghostface was in The Walking Dead? Ooh. You know, I was about to say I couldn't do that, but you just gave me an idea. If you guys remember, Rick got those cell phone calls when he went crazy. I could make Ghostface be at the prison. But as to who would be Ghostface, that'd be a bit of a chore. But if you guys have ideas for who could be Ghostface in that scenario, I'm all ears. What if Darth Vader was in The Walking Dead? No. He is much too powerful. Think about it. The dude has a lightsaber that can cut through pretty much anything. He could use the Force, which could basically kill anyone who's not superhuman or a space warrior. So even John Wick is a stretch. What if Dewey's gun jammed? You'd have to explain a little more on that one. What if Minecraft Steve was in The Walking Dead? Once again, too overpowered because Steve could just build whatever he wanted. What? I mean... It would depend on if it's survival Steve or creative Steve. So if you could let me know, then I'll be more than happy to save that as a thing. What if Morgan went with Rick to Atlanta? I think I have that scenario happening. Like, what if Morgan and Dwayne went with Rick? So, yeah, I think I have that one saved already. What if Chad and Mindy were the killers in Scream 5 instead of Richie and Mandy? Well, then, there'd be no Chad in Scream 6, which wouldn't really change much, in my opinion. What if Rick stayed with Morgan and they found Alexandria after the Savior's fall? Rick and... So basically, what if Rick joined Fear? Well, I have what if Rick's family joined Madison as a parallel to my what if Madison's family joined Rick? But I could... make that happen for Fear. It seems like a a repetition of the original hint from Morgan leaving Fear to find Rick, and the fact that I don't know. I feel like I could make something happen. Survival, Steve. Okay.
Sit on your butt. 1, 2. Thank you.
There we go. Okay. We have officially 16 ideas for the stream, and we are an hour and 15 minutes in. So I feel like I'm just going to call it here, because you guys have come up with some pretty good ideas, 16 ideas for the stream. And I mainly extended it because of the announcement this time, and due to the fact that there were small interruptions with people, but I'm not really bothered by that anymore. It was just mainly one time because I didn't think anybody would really do that, but now I'm more or less expecting it. But, Sam was the killer. I'll at least do that. But other than that, I'm going to call it here. So thank you guys for the 17 ideas so far, and let me know if you weren't able to get your ideas registered into the stream today. You could always put it in the stream comments section or any of one of my other comments. Be sure to check out my Discord, which is featured in every one of my videos, including streams. Let me know what you think about me including comic stuff, especially more of it in the future, since that was mainly what the announcement was about. And I will see you guys Monday with a new video. And if you guys did not see my recent What If Madison's Family Joined Rick episode, Shane is back again. So if you guys haven't seen that particular episode, definitely give it a watch, because Monday you'll be seeing the full-on twist of why that is. And if Strand's even included. I'm not really going to spoil anything beyond that. But I think I covered everything. So without further ado, I will be seeing you guys later. See you guys Monday. And yeah,